They don't like it when you telling the truth. I'd rather be realer than you, my dudes. MX versus ATV legends. Oh, boys. So I am absolutely, totally, 100%, 69,000% shocked that we have a release date all of a sudden for MX versus ATV Legends. Spitzy Boy riding the rock out here. Oh, man. So, yeah, I don't really have any words for this. I'm like in total shock right now, to be completely 100 with you. Okay. Boys, be sure you got all notification bell hit for the channel, because holy shit, there is so much stuff going on right now. We got multiple MX Sim tracks, still got multiple Supercross 5 videos. Now we got the damn MX versus ATV Legends apparently going to be coming out, what is it, May? Like May 24th? Do I have that right? I think I have that right. Anyways, I thought it was going to be released like December of 2022, you know, that was kind of my like thought process on it. I was thinking this whole time that they had rushed out those early, you know, trailers and all that gameplay a few months back when they had that Nordic 10th anniversary, right? You know, the first time you saw Legends trailer. You know, there I was thinking the whole time that, oh, well, that they just had to rush that out real quick, but they're not going to come out with the game till the end of 2022 or like sometime in 2023, you know? That's what I was thinking this whole time, but wham! That is not the case. This shit's like apparently damn near totally completed, because they're going to be coming out with it here in just a couple of months. So this is pretty insanity news right here. Now, I'm not going to show that trailer that they just posted, because there's really no point. That new Trails Mode trailer or whatever. There's just really no point. It's like 1 minute of basically just an extended trailer of the original trailer from a couple of months back, but it really doesn't show anything different with the game. I mean, to be completely honest with you, you could just look at those original trailers from a couple months back when they were riding on those little, looked like those trail spots on the side of that, like, that canyon on that, you know, tropical looking area. And when they were riding through all them tropical looking areas with the palm trees, it already looked like a Trails Mode, even in the earlier trailers. So I'm a little bit dumbfounded by this whole fucking thing right here. Whoa! Bro, you can definitely pop off on All Out. That's for sure, dude. But anyways, yeah, so I had to get through this first part of it, just dumbfounded in the fact that the shit's actually coming out not only in 2022, but mid-2022. I'm just puzzled by this, because obviously with that early gameplay that they came out with a few months back, you would have to be a fool to not see the similarities and the, you know, repetitiveness with Legends and MX versus ATV All Out. I mean, it's pretty damn apparent how similar they are, okay? And my thought was like, well, they're going to be able to change it more, you know, in 2022, because they, like I say, I was thinking this whole time they had came out with those original trailers just for that Nordic 10th anniversary shit, right? But in fact, that doesn't seem to be the case at all. So I'm worried right now. I'm big time worried right now. I'm not even going to lie to you. And, you know, a lot of you boys think I'm some MX versus ATV fanboy, milestone hater, MX bikes hater, MX sim fanboy, daddy, okay? But the real reality is I've talked shit on all these motherfucking dirt bike games at one point in time, and I've also praised just about all of them at one point in time. So, you know, that's just for the trolls on YouTube, right? But here's going to be another prime example to you that I'm not just some MX versus ATV fanboy, okay? I am genuinely very concerned about Legends now. I'm not just going to come out and say this shit's going to be terrible, but like, you got to remember, see, this is not like talking about a milestone official Supercross game or a like a MXGP game or something like that, because with the MX versus ATV games, they come out like every 3 or 4 years, which is a good thing, but it's also a avenue where I'm going to judge the game more because the developer had more time to work on it. Okay? Now, obviously with the milestone games, they should be making those like every 2 or 3, 4 years, but they make them every single year. But nonetheless, it's almost like it's more acceptable for those games to be more similar to each other when you talk about raw development time. It's not okay, though, because they're the same price. The milestone games are the same price as any other kind of game where they work on it for 4 or 5 years, in comparison to milestones like 6-month development time. But you get what I'm saying, though. When a game has 4 years to be made versus like 6 months, obviously MX versus ATV should have way more development time to make it look different than the previous game. But I think they're really struggling with that. They're really struggling to make Legends look different enough from MX versus ATV All Out. And I think that's what's got everybody's head spinning. And I see it too. I totally agree with you. I mean, even if you look at those earlier trailers, it was almost identical Supercross tracks to what All Out had. Now, I do like this whole vibe they're going for, this like Forza Horizon, free ride, trails mode, free roam kind of vibe they're going for with Legends. I'm down for that. I'm down for it. But by golly, you had better still have your really good Supercross track, series in the game, your really good Motocross track series in the game. You can't forget about all this other stuff over here. And I don't think they have with Legends. I just find it to be a little bizarre that, they come out with this new trailer and this new release date and all this stuff, and it's going to come out in just a couple of months. Do they really show you anything different or new from that original trailer? Not really. They just show you this trails mode that you could have already expected to be in the game anyways, which is cool. I'm not hating on a trails mode. I think we've been needing more of that in these games anyways. I've been harping on the official Supercross games not having enough free ride content and extra kind of like trail riding content, shit like that. So it's a good thing. I'm just confused at why they're not like showing more of it, why they're not like showing, here's a totally different biome free ride track, or, they're showing you that same palm tree, jumping over the palm tree type shit, like that same tropical biome area that they showed in those original trailers. It's like, okay. They didn't really show you any more Supercross content. They didn't really show you all that much actual behind the rider gameplay. They just barely showed it. Yeah, I think that's going to be the whole thing with Legends. Is it different enough from MX versus ATV All Out, not only graphically, but also physics-wise? I mean, I think you're going to get different track content. I'm not really too concerned about that part of it. I mean, they've already showed the screenshots of the snow biome free ride looking area, and I think that's the way it's going to be in a sense. It's going to be like you got this set of like maybe 3 to 5 humongo biomed free ride / free roam massive. You could imagine like the size of this free ride track right here on All Out, or basically any other free ride track like on Reflex or whatever. They all have a pretty similar overall size to them, but I think with Legends you're going to get like 3 to 5 of those that are 3 to 5 times bigger than your standard free ride track. And it's going to have all these different kind of trail, enduro, trail mode, trail track, trail area in that giant free ride, free roam area. I don't know how all that's going to tie in together, but like, yeah, I mean, I'm just going to keep it real with you. I was expecting it to look more different than that For MX versus ATV going to an entirely different game, it sure does have a lot of similarities to All Out. And that's not the whole story, obviously, because it could feel quite a bit different. But even when you look at the gameplay and the physics, it's like, whew. Even the gameplay itself looks very, very similar to All Out, you know? So, I don't know. I don't know what to think about this. I would just be heavily careful with Legends at this point. Because like I say, this ain't something where, oh, no, the game's actually going to come out at the end of 2022, and then, holy shit, that tree is collidable, boy. So, nonetheless, yeah, of course we're going to get a trail mode. I don't know what makes this trail mode all that much different from a fucking, like, trail mode that you had in Untamed or something, like, or Reflex, you know? Reflex had the I don't know if it had an actual dedicated trail mode, but it had Omnicross that you could ride on with the bikes, which was basically, in a nutshell, like a trail mode. And even with this trail mode that I'm seeing with this Legend shit, it don't look like super close trees beside the track everywhere like a GNCC Hare Scramble style trail mode. It basically, in a nutshell, looks like you took the width of a motocross track and you dropped it down in the middle of the woods. And that's kind of more of this sort of trail mode that I'm seeing here. So those are two different kind of trail modes, you know what I'm saying? You got a wide trail mode, which is not even really a trail mode. Hopefully, some of their trail area mode track type shit in Legends is a lot tighter, a lot more like actual trail GNCC type bark buster fucking, you know what the fuck I'm talking about if you've ever really raced GNCC, okay? I have raced a few of those in my lifetime in real life, so you know, a lot of those are heavily based around like trees really close beside you, very, very narrow track that a four-wheeler and ATV would have struggles even getting through. And that may be the whole reason they're going down more of this wider vibe for the trail tracks, because they're trying to fit all these other vehicles on it. You know, if you think about an MX versus ATV game that has UTVs, ATVs, STD, I mean, all those different vehicles, then you'd have to imagine that, you know, they're going to make their trails wide enough for a UTV to accurately be able to get around it, which I hope that's not the case. I hope they have some bike-specific, like bike-only trail tracks in the game. You know, I'm sure I am directly, and I mean directly, speaking from the voices of the unheard, from all these fan bases of all these fucking motocross games. I mean, I really am the voice of most of that. And I went down through there and looked at the comments of the post of this new MX vs. ATV trail mode shit, and conservatively, I would say about 90% of the comments are very negative towards it, you know, saying things along the lines of, we just want Reflex again, where's Reflex? Reflex 2, this is just an MX vs. ATV all-out clone, fix your physics look like dog water, you know, this doesn't really look like anything different, why can't they just bring back the old school days? Boy, does that not sound very familiar to, you know, everything I've been saying for like 5+ years now with these MX vs. ATV games. Does that not sound pretty familiar to you? It's funny how now it's like we got all these little Spency boys in the comment section of MX vs. ATV. It's like, yes, dogs, yes. I've tried to say all this way before we ever even got to this point, but now it's kind of hitting that you know, mass population where everybody's starting to realize, where the fuck are the Reflex days? Where the fuck are the Alive days? Where is all that? Where'd all that go? Yeah, that's exactly what I've been saying for like years now. So, you know, I feel like there's been enough proof at this point with the videos that I've made and the opinions that I've had. I really am the voice of what the mass majority of people really want with this shit, and what's actually the most fun MX versus ATV experiences. The unleashed, untamed, Reflex, even into Alive a little bit. You know, that whole era right there was the golden age. It just was. There's no denying it. There's no debating it. That shit was the golden age. And I mean, All Out is a cool game. I always thought All Out was like, you know, after MX vs. ATV went to the shit show of, you know, MX vs. ATV Supercross and Encore and all that, I always thought All Out was like a pretty good step on the ladder out of the grave in a sense, you know. I still didn't think they was out of the shitter yet. So it's like they needed that next MX vs. ATV game after All Out that really pulled them completely out of the grave again. And from the looks of it, I just don't know if that's going to be the case. And I've been saying that. I've been thinking, you know, Legends wasn't going to be anything like a Reflex level game. I've been saying for a while now, I feel like it's going to take MX vs. ATV like another game after Legends before we get something that could even remotely be comparable to Reflex, you know. But yeah, it seems as if more so like we're going to be getting more of a like MX versus ATV All Out to like 1.5 or whatever the hell you want to call it, you know, All Out 2.0 or what the fuck ever, you know. It does have that look to it. I mean, you just can't deny it. Like graphically, the way that Ryder looks on the bike, the animations, even the whip system. I mean, it looks different, but it also looks the same. It's this bizarre, like, that's what I mean by, it seems like, I don't think you're going to get, you know, literally MX versus ATV All Out on a bunch of different tracks. That's not what I think Legends is going to be, but I'm starting to get that idea now that I don't think it's going to be that whole new game that you can typically expect from the MX versus ATV series. I just don't know if it's going to be that whole new game type experience that you expect from a game that only comes out 3 to 4 years. I don't know if it's going to live up to that. I'm just starting to really question if it's going to be able to live up to that. See, I was under the hope that, you know, this game wasn't going to come out until the end of 2022, so surely that would give them that little bit extra development time to really hone in on all that and fix a lot of that stuff that we saw in those early trailers. But, oh man, apparently Legends is coming out way the fuck sooner than a lot of us thought. So it's starting to look more just like those original trailers is what you're actually going to be getting. More so than, oh, they've got time to change it and fix it. Now it's more of that vibe of like what you were seeing in those original trailers is probably more like what you're actually going to get. So I would certainly be careful with pre-ordering Legends or trying to, you know, let's just get all super hyped up about it and buy it and talk all super positively about it. I'd be very careful with that at this point. Very careful. Man, I mean, there is a pop-off system to All Out. Maybe I'm just used to the Supercross 5 that doesn't really have a pop-off system, but gee, like I can't hardly land off of these bigger jumps. You have to land them better. That would definitely help my case. Yeah, All Out just had an interesting physics system to it. I can't quite put my finger on how to even explain the physics of All Out, but there's a lot of things they could improve on with the physics of All Out for sure. I mean, it's a free physics system, and it's oh my lant, dude, like there is certainly a super arcade feeling to the physics of All Out, and there's certainly a super arcade unrealistic look to the physics of Legends and in those early trailers. It's like I don't know where this like super arcade sort of physics thing is kind of coming from per se, you know, because when you think about Reflex, like it has that awesome balance between arcade dirt bike game, but also realistic in the way that it looks and the way that the physics kind of flow with the game. But it doesn't necessarily look like that with Legends. So I am concerned with that for sure. But yeah, I hope that one of my biggest hopes with Legends is I hope they don't get so caught up in the Forza Horizon, you know, free ride, free roam trail, open world dirt bike game, open world vehicle game, more so is what it actually is. I hope they don't get so caught up in that to the point to where then it kind of takes away a little bit from your actual motocross track and supercross track content of the game. You know, I'm hoping they don't get so carried away with that sort of theme to Legends that then it takes away from the moto and the supercross tracks. I mean, you could see in those original trailers for Legends, it looked like they had the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross replica tracks in it. So surely to goodness they still have all of that. But I'm just confused at why they come out with the release date, but all they really show is just a slight extension of the trail mode that we already could have basically figured out was going to be in the game from those early trailers. It's like they didn't even really show you anything different or new. So I'm just confused about it, man. That's all I can say. I'm just confused about it. And I would be careful, you know, I certainly wouldn't just pre-order Legends at this point. I'm going to come out and say it right now. I would not pre-order Legends. I just wouldn't. From what I've seen and the release date of the game, what everything looks like, and I'm not just talking about visual graphically, I'm talking about physics on the fucking bike, what it looks like, everything about it, I would be careful, you know, I would be careful at this point. It is to that point where I'm worried about it, and I would not recommend pre-ordering it. I would wait until, you know, all you're going to have to do is wait 2 months or so for all these dudes like me, real talkers, okay, not neutral boys, okay, real talkers, you know, the motherfuckers that's been real talking since day one, you know, me, you know, that's, you know, it's a small group here, you know, me, anyways, I digress. It's funny how now we get some people trying to do some real talking, you know. Now we get some guys trying to come out here and actually talk about some of this shit I've been talking about forever, because it's more, you know, you got more people on your side now than you did years ago. You got a lot more people now backing this, you know, negative opinion towards these, even the milestone games. A lot of those people now are starting to realize the repetitive nature of the milestone games. Like I've been saying forever, now people are starting to realize where the hell's the Reflex feel, what the fuck. Everybody's not so just optimistically positive about everything. People are more realistic now about things, and I'm proud of that. But I just have to point out, I was that way from day one. I was that way about all this shit. Been that way about all this shit this whole time. You know, and I had to go through all them years of everybody calling me a Reflex fanboy, and all Spencer ever talks about is Reflex. Boy, that's funny now, isn't it? Because you look through the comment section of the new MX vs. ATV game post, and what does 99% of those comments say? Where's Reflex? We just want a Reflex remastered. Where's Reflex 2.0? Man, the Reflex days really were the best days. Man, oh man, is the T-Zipper predictor hitting you with it again? Like I've always said, just give it some time and it'll all make sense to you. Just get whatever it is that I say, just give it some time and it'll all make sense to you. You may have to give it years of time. You may have to whatever, but I'm telling you, eventually, I speak such truth that it will eventually make sense to you. If it doesn't already.